Hello, hello! Welcome back to my channel, Reading with Nargles. I'm Danny. As you guys know, I finally finished reading the Throne of Glass series. And during the Throne of Glass series, well, there was a period, I think I was maybe a couple books in, and I kept pausing the series to read some library books that were coming in. And then I realized that I just wanted to get through this series just so I can kind of move on. So I just kept pausing all my library holds, just kept saying like, no, save it for later, I'm not ready now. So now that I'm done, of course, all the library books are coming in at the same time. So I thought this would be a good time to do a read my library books. So that's what we're here for today. We'll be back. Okay, so we are going to read some library books. We're going to go pick them up, and we're going to start with the first one. So let's get to it. Because this book, fun fact, is not even my library book. I borrowed this library book from my friend who checked this out. So shout out to Mo. Thank you for letting me read this book after you before you returned it, because it's a new release. It definitely was not going to get ready for me. This is our book club book for this month. My local book club. How our book club does it is whoever gets like the choice for that month sends 3 of their selections, and then all of book club gets to vote for which one they want. So we all still kind of have a say, which I love. But Holly by Stephen King is the book that won. I have only ever read one Stephen King book. It was The Shining. I at least got to read it with one of my best friends, but so far based on that, I don't know if I'm a Stephen King person. But I am very intrigued by his book Fairy Tale, so that is definitely on my list to read eventually when I don't care about length of books, because I'm pretty intimidated after having read Kingdom of Ash. Why do I always think it's Kingdom of Fire? Why? I just need to stress, I feel like this is just a whole new level of trust of my friend lending me a library book. You know, like the trust of, are they going to return it on time? Are they not going to lose it? That is a whole new level. So we have made it. For this library book, it's due, I think, the 27th. And I'm definitely not going to be able to renew it because A, it's not mine, and it was a lucky day book. So I got to get through this, especially because I think our book club is meeting October 1st. So here I am reading this. I've actually already started it. I'm probably about halfway. I'm on page 226, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm really not enjoying it. It's not the worst thing. I'm intrigued by it enough. There's a lot of themes in this book that I do not like. I wish that they wouldn't continue, and they're continuing. But I guess I'm intrigued overall. But I'm also I'm not a fast reader. I'm trying to read this a little bit faster just so I can be done with it. Especially because I got this book from my friend when I was halfway through Red, White, and Royal Blue, and I want to read that before the other library books. But there's 3 library books ready, so what's a girl to do? But I guess I'm excited to see how this ends. I read 1.5 of his book so far, so I feel like I can't really judge him too much, right? And he's a legend, so I have to show off my bookmark. I thought was pretty fitting for a Stephen King book, just little skeletons. So we're out here. We like to do some themed bookmarks with our books. But yeah, let's get to it. I got some water and I got some electrolytes, and I'm ready to roll. Okay, just got to another page, and I feel like I have to mention these complaints because they're happening throughout the book. Why is the word poop used so much in this book? I feel like only Stephen King can get away with that. My friend said that too, and I stand by it. I also just got to a quote, like fun you were, instead of the F word. Just say the F word. I feel like there's curse words throughout this book outside of that. I guess maybe that one character isn't, but I don't know. Maybe I'm being overcritical because I'm not thrilled by a lot of these themes, but I'm also not thrilled by that. Hey, this might be my first time filming in my car, so welcome. Okay, that was weird. I just left the library, so I think I already told you guys, but yeah, of course, all the library books come ready at once. So that's why we're doing a library book video. So I figured I'd show you guys what I got. I just returned Holly. I did finish that. Thank God we're moving on to better things. So 3 books were ready, and I'm very excited about every single one of them. So let's see what we got. I mean, I already know. I finally got The Love Wager by Lynn Painter. Love, I'm so excited. I actually have had this book in my hands before, and I don't remember why I didn't get to it, but I didn't get to it, so I'm probably going to start this tonight because I feel like I could use something lighthearted. I just feel overwhelmed this week, so I feel like this is going to be exactly what I need. So we'll probably start with this. And I've just been pausing it on Libby for so long because I was reading Throne of Glass, and now I'm finally ready, so we're probably going to start this tonight. And then I got so much paper waste. I feel so bad. And then we got Rain, which I believe is the last book in the American Royal series, and I think just came out this month or in August maybe. What month are we in? September. Okay, so I think it came out like a month ago. So I'm very excited for this. Honestly, I don't really remember. I remember being a cliffhanger on the last one, so I'm hoping I can ease right into this. But also, I've been reading Red, White, and Royal Blue. I'm in the middle of that. Pour that book because I own it, so I'm probably going to pause it for library books. And I'm hoping I don't get confused because this is obviously similar vibes with like the presidency and royalty aspect, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm excited to finally finish this because I feel like these books always take me a little bit to get into it, but then it's so good, so we'll see. And then last but not least, we got, oh my gosh, what is this? Masters of Death by Olive E. Blake. I've never read an Olive E. Blake book, but I've seen her kind of all over lately, so I'm very excited to try this. The back, ooh, there is a game that the immortals play. There is only one rule: don't lose. I actually don't remember what this book is about. So, oh, look at the art in it. Oh, why does that give me Jax vibes from Once Upon a Broken Heart? Tell me that. Ah! Oh, I'm so excited. I don't even know what this book is about, and I'm excited. Okay, I'm gonna go home because I want to let my puppy dog out before I go back to work. And I'm gonna figure out what this is about, and then we'll come back to it. So, see you soon. Day. So I did start The Love Wager by Lynn Painter. I got, you know what, well, I've read a little bit already today. I got about 80 pages in last night. I read a little bit this morning before work, and I'm on page 126 now. And honestly, this is exactly what I needed. I am enjoying it. I am enjoying the banter. I have laughed out loud a couple times. I've already read a quote to my husband who did not appreciate it. And yeah, I don't know. I had hopes that I was gonna finish it today, but I've actually had a very productive day just doing other errands. So I doubt I'll finish it today because that much is left. And that just isn't gonna happen for a slow reader who's easily distracted. But definitely this week. I feel like that's an easy ambition. And then as for Masters of Death, I did finally figure out what that one was about. So I think it's about a realtor who's a vampire, I think, who has to sell a haunted house. And it's haunted because the previous owner was murdered in it. So we have to solve the murder. I don't know. Sounds very interesting. Yeah, that's what that one's about. I honestly haven't decided what I'm going to read next, Rain or Masters of Death, but it seems like I have a little bit of time to decide, so I'm not too worried about it yet. But I'm going to go ahead and try to read a couple pages. If Kakashi decides to let me, but he's up and moving, so he might require some playtime, but it's just 100 degrees still, so what is fall? Yeah, so we'll get back to it. I am audibly laughing with this book. I am doing these just probably creepy, dorky smiles when reading this book. I'm just having a great time. I've missed that about reading. Back. I honestly don't know the last time I filmed. It's a couple days later. I'm pretending it's fall. I finally got this big cozy fuzzy hoodie, so we're gonna pretend it's fall so I can wear it because it's still 100 degrees outside. Well, probably like 80 right now because it's 8. Nailed it. I finished Holly, which you guys know I already returned it. I finished The Love Wager. Is that where I'm at? Oh, okay. I had said that I was in the middle of Red, White, and Royal Blue, which isn't technically a library book, but I ended up finishing that one today. Because I was trying to decide which library book I was going to start next, and honestly I couldn't get into either of them, and I was still thinking about Red, White, and Royal Blue because I was really enjoying it. I only paused it because I got all the library books, so I ended up just finishing it. I read so much yesterday. It's such a quick read. It was so good. But now I still have 2 library books. I've kind of been flipping through them both. I'm kind of in that phase where I'm just reading the first 5, 10, 20 pages. Oh, hi, buddy. Hi. I was hoping he would join me. I don't know how long he's gonna stay. I've read the first like 5, 10, 20 pages of each book, and honestly, none are really grabbing my attention right now. So right now I'm on the first couple pages of Masters of Death. I'm gonna keep continuing to read it and we'll see if it keeps my attention, if I can finish this one. I guess I'll rate all my books at the end of this video, so stay tuned for those. And I'll also kind of explain my rating system because everyone's is so different. So we're still here. It's a couple days later, a week later. Time is just running together. All my days are the same. I don't know. So we're still here. I'm still working my way through Masters of Death. I'm on page 200 out of, I think it ends up being about 380. So I'm over halfway and I want to love this book so much, but I'm not loving it. Shout out to my friend Mo because she has put up with my texts maybe daily at this point saying that I want to love this book, that I'm bored, that I'm just not wanting to read, that I'm confused. This book has been so confusing. It has not been what I thought it was going to be, and not in a bad way. Like, I'm still interested, but I think because of the way it's written, like, it really does take focus, and I feel like I'm in kind of one of those moods where I have to be reading in complete silence, and I have not been able to do that when Zach's home. So I think that's been kind of hard too, because I'm distracted, so I'm not fully in the book, but I have to be to understand. And you know what? This book has been giving me, what vibes has it been? Kind of the Octonumi, and the way that things are a little bit cryptic. I think it's the right word. And then they end up making sense later on the more you read, which I normally love in a book, but I also, there's not even a book that I'm itching to read that's new right now. The only other thing I have planned for this month, which is now October, I don't know when I started this, I think last month. The only thing I have planned is to reread Once Upon a Broken Heart and The Ballad of Never After, because The Curse for True Love, the final book in the trilogy, comes out later this month. So I want to reread those, and maybe I'm just kind of itching to read those, but I don't have the heart to DNF this. Because it's not that it's bad. So I don't know. I have about an hour and a half right now before I have to go back to work. So I'm hoping to read a little bit right now while it's quiet and hopefully make a good dent in this. And then we'll see. Because we're going adventuring this weekend. So I know I probably could definitely finish this on the car ride. Big shout out to Zach. He always drives on our road trips. I am passenger princess, so I definitely could finish this on the road trip. But then I'm not sure what I'm gonna read. But you know what? We're here and we're still reading library books. So let's get to it. Okay, we've read some library books and it's time to rate them, because that's what the library books I think I'm going to get to for this video, because Lord, it has taken me some time. I did not get to read all of the ones that I picked up from the library. I just was not feeling Rain, and I did not want to push myself to read a book that I wasn't in the mood to read. I am a mood reader, so I kind of knew going into this video that I probably wasn't going to get to every single library book. That's okay. I do plan to read Rain eventually. Now it's just not the time. I'll request it as an ebook and an audiobook, because I think that will make a difference. I just can't physically read it right now, and that's okay. But before I rate my books, because I think this is the first time I'm doing ratings, I thought I would share, we'll go with my way of rating, because everyone's is so different. So at least you guys kind of know going into future videos, just seeing me rate books, kind of what my thought process is. And I'm I did not make this one. I found someone who shared it and I just kind of vibe with it. So the wording may not be exactly kind of me, but the general idea is there. So a 1-star review from me. Oh, so I should start off by saying, especially if you guys are not book people, which I feel like if you're here, you're at least somewhat of a book person, or you're just loyal to me, so thank you for being here. Usually, or especially on Goodreads. Goodreads is a app where you can track what books you're reading, see how many books you read per year, rate them, and leave some reviews. And then it's kind of, we'll say, social media, because you can add your friends, see what they're reading, see what they rate books, etc. It is amazing. I love Goodreads. But on Goodreads, you can rate books from a 1-star to a 5-star. I have adopted a just star rating. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're simple over here. So 1 star, I feel like I saw something different the other day. 1 star is either going to be D and F for me, so I did not finish it, or I finished it and there was nothing redeeming about it for me. What are you eating? What are you doing? What is it? I don't even know. A 2-star means I finished it, it made me mad, but it had some redeeming qualities. There was something in the book that kept me going. A 3-star, it was not bad, it wasn't great, I probably won't reread it. I finished it, I did it, kind of enjoy parts, but I was also bored at parts. A 4-star, some things bother me about the book, but overall a good book. I probably would reread. I was gonna say I would recommend, but I also, brief intermission, I guess, for Kakashi's antics. I would recommend a 3, 4, and 5-star to friends. I definitely would not recommend a 1 or a 2, but 3, 4, or 5 I would. I don't like the rep that 3-star ratings are getting nowadays. A 3-star rating isn't bad. Not every book is gonna be a 5-star. 3-star, still a good book, just wasn't the perfect book for me. That's okay, still was good, still had a good time, just had some problems with it. 4 stars, some things bothered me, but overall a good read. Would recommend to friends, definitely would reread. A 5-star book was so good that I'll ignore any flaws and 100% reread it. A 5-star book I kind of expect to have on my bookshelves. Now I feel like I have to go through my Goodreads and see what I've rated 5 stars, and then if I don't own it, buy it. Okay, now that you guys know my star rating, I feel like we can dive in. So I've already returned Stephen King's Holly. So let's talk about Holly first though. I did not like this book. I did not like it. It was my oh my goodness. Where's my brain right now? It was my 2nd Stephen King book. The first one I read of his was The Shining, which I also don't remember liking. I remember that being a 2 or a 3. So it should come to no surprise that Holly was a 2. There were a lot of themes in this book that I really did not enjoy. I did not like that it was about COVID. I feel like we don't need a book about it. We remember it. We're not going to forget it. I'm good. I don't like the reasoning for why the murders were happening. I don't think I really liked any of the characters. But the very end, when things were kind of coming together and the plot was figuring itself out, I was intrigued. And I was intrigued enough to keep reading throughout the whole book. I think even if it wasn't for my book club, I maybe would have still finished it. But definitely a 2-star for me. There was a little bit of redeeming qualities, but overall, it was not a book for me. I would not recommend it to people. Okay, let's move on. I think the next book I've read was The Love Wager by Lynn Painter. And this book is a solid 4 stars from me. It was so good. I was flying through this book. I remember laughing out loud. I feel like there were a couple issues with it, and just because I'm not with that like obsessive, overwhelming need to just make up reasons for things that I had problems with, that's why it's a 4. But I overall had a great time with this book. It It was such a quick read. It was exactly what I needed. I feel like it's been so long since I read this book. I remember reading this book, I feel like during just a very overwhelming, stressful week, and it was just so fun to get lost in this. I had a great time. So 4 stars, highly recommend. Still love Lynn Painter, and I still have at least 1 or 2 more books of hers that I haven't read. I think she has a new one that releases either this month or next month. Cannot wait for it. I'm just so excited. I love, love, love Lynn Painter. Highly recommend. If you're looking for a light romance with like a little love wager, this is the book for you. Highly recommend. Okay, and then did I really only read 3 library books? You know what? I did, but in between the love wager and the other library book I read, I finished Red, White, and Royal Blue. I know it's not a library book, but I was already halfway through this book, so I feel like I had to finish it because I couldn't do this book that disservice of not finishing it just because I was reading library books. And you know what? I kind of am torn on what I want to rate this book because I think on Goodreads I already rated it 4 stars. I keep thinking about this book. This book was so good, and honestly, I wonder if I would have just 5-starred it out the bat if I hadn't paused this book halfway through, because I did pause it to read Holly and The Love Wager. I thought he was ripping my shorts. So I wonder if I would feel differently if I hadn't paused. And you know what? I keep thinking about this book. It was so good. I just can't stop thinking about the characters. It was just so swoon-worthy. I was living for the emails. Honestly, I did rate it a 4, and I might move up to a 5. Either way, I really loved this book. And I think maybe you know what? I think I got confused on, I feel like I can't even say. I got confused on one part about halfway through, but again, that is kind of when I was pausing to read other books. And I wonder if I just kept going, if I wouldn't have been confused and I wouldn't have forgotten. And I think that's what made it a 4. So honestly, it probably is a 5. Either way, I recommend it and I loved it. I loved all of the characters. This just became a movie on Amazon Prime, and it is adorable, but of course they took out so many either plots or characters, but the movie was so good too. So I highly recommend this. I can't believe I waited so long to read it because I am way behind. This book had to be huge years ago. When did this come out? 2019. So 5-star, 5. Okay, and last but not least, the last library book I read, since I did not read Rain, and I'm just going to postpone that, I did read Masters of Death by Olive E. Blake. This was my first Olive E. Blake book, and not her most popular. I think her most popular book that I've heard of is The Atlas 6, potentially, and I'm very excited to read that. I definitely want to read that. I just haven't yet. I heard about this one and thought it seemed fallish. Definitely is. Has all the fall characters. So this book was not what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be about the realtor who's a vampire selling this haunted house, and she had to find out like how it was haunted. And you know what? I guess we did find that out, but. And I read this when I first picked it up. There is a game that the Immortals play. There's only one rule: don't lose. That actually became the premise, and I wasn't expecting that, but it's literally on the back of the book, so shouldn't I have? And you know what? I did enjoy this. I have never really read a book like this. It took me a while to get through this because I was not reaching for it because it just, like I just said, it just was pretty confusing. Once I kind of gave up on understanding and just was along for the ride, it went a lot faster. And you know what? The more you read, the more it makes sense. There's still things that are confusing, but I think if I went back and reread this, everything would make sense to me. I'd be like, oh yeah, like that because of that. But it was pretty confusing. And it did take me kind of pushing myself to read it a little bit. And for that, I'm going to give this book a 3 stars. It was a good book, but I did have some qualms with it. I was not always reaching for it. I was kind of having to say, okay, I'm gonna read, you know, like I'm reading this for the video. But you know what, I think the end got better. I think I enjoyed the end the most. I think things were just starting to come together. It started to make more sense. So, I would recommend it just for kind of a spooky ride, but I would also kind of say, if you're going to this book, just kind of go in expecting to be a little bit confused and just kind of enjoy it. Enjoy all the different types of characters that are in this book. I did find it really fun that Death was an actual character. I love reading about Death, the Grim Reaper, or whatever. I feel like I read a couple books like that, and this one was really, really fun to do that. Just a little bit confusing as you went. So overall, a really nice range of books. I feel like the only one we missed was a 1-star, right? And I feel like I don't throw out 1-stars really ever. So yeah, that's all we got for this video. So thanks for tagging along. Thanks for checking it out. And I hope to see you again somewhere. You can find me on the interwebs on Instagram at Reading with Nargles. And I hope to see you when I see you. If you liked this video, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.